Thank you all for being here today. I'm Dr. Monica Bond with the Wild Nature Institute, and I will be sharing with you Tall Tales, 14 years of our research, education, and action for Masai giraffes in Tanzania. There are likely several species of giraffes in Africa. Based on genetics, morphology, and geography, we favor the proposed taxonomy of 11 species, which gives the greatest species-level protections to the most giraffes. Regardless, in all of the taxonomic studies, the Masai giraffe appears to be its own species, with 2 or 3 subspecies. We've been working over the past 14 years on giraffe research and conservation in 3 key ecosystems in Tanzania: Serengeti, Tarangire, and Arusha National Park. Tanzania has vast landscapes with giraffes and no fences. So in contrast to other countries where fences are common and giraffes are often ranched like cattle, here we can study births, deaths, movements, and behaviors of large wild populations in their natural habitats. Our giraffe research is discovering where Maasai giraffes are doing well, where they're not, and why. We also support local communities working to protect and connect areas important for Maasai giraffe conservation. In addition to our giraffe research, we have a community education program that reaches many thousands of Tanzanians. Last year, we completed our 14th year of the world's largest study of giraffes using non-invasive photographic identification and DNA sampling. Because giraffes have a natural built-in identifier, their unique spot patterns, we recognize individuals from photographs and collect our data without any captures, which are dangerous and traumatic for the giraffes. 6 times per year, we spend a few weeks surveying for giraffes all day long and camping each night. We count and map hundreds of groups of giraffes and take more than 1,000 photographs of giraffe spot patterns during every survey to identify the individuals. Thus, we know who we saw, when we saw them, and where we saw them. With this information, we learn the life history and ecology of large populations in large landscapes. With our photographic identification data, we've estimated home range size, survival and birth rates, and group social dynamics. We monitor giraffes in 3 major ecosystems, and we've completed 121 independent surveys. We've taken more than 90,000 identification photos and identified well over 6,000 individual giraffes. We've published 34 peer-reviewed scientific papers with our original data, as well as 2 book chapters, and we have many more papers we're working on now and in the future. Our research focuses on demography of giraffes, which is births, deaths, and movements, as well as their social relationships, and how both are affected by the world around them, and how this then translates into numbers of giraffes over time. Our ultimate goal is to identify the most effective conservation actions we can take to save giraffes in their natural habitats. And now I'll share with you some of our most important findings. We'll start with social structure. This graphic shows all the adult female giraffes in Tarangire, with lines linking the giraffes that hang out with each other. This is the Giraffe Friends Network. Giraffes have a complex social system that's similar to the societies of elephants and humans, where individuals hang out with a subset of the other giraffes in their home range, and there are clear units of friendship. We took the information about the strength of relationships among adult females and divided this friends network into female social communities. Here, the colored dots indicate about 1,000 adult female giraffes and their 10 distinct social communities. These are the giraffe girl gangs of Tarangire, and each gang consists of about 60 to 90 adult females. But even within the same area, there can be multiple communities of giraffes overlapping in space, but they do not socially interact with each other. And interestingly, these girl gangs have different calf survival and reproductive rates. The girl gangs are likely extended family groups. And when we analyzed social networks of males together with the females, we found males connected the female communities into super communities made up of 800 to 900 giraffes. and these super communities are geographically distinct. So we discovered two higher levels of giraffe social organization beyond the herds that you'll see in any given time. And this is the basic population social structure of wild, free-living giraffes. And we only figured this out by identifying thousands of giraffes in a vast, unfenced landscape and monitoring them for a decade. We also found that giraffes with more friends survive better than socially isolated individuals. The number of friends was even more important to giraffe survival than how close she lived to people or the type of vegetation she spent time in. Sociality is clearly important for giraffes. But how does this information about giraffes' social structure help us with giraffe conservation? They have families and friends, just like us. So we must take care not to disrupt their well-established social relationships by disturbing their groups or by splitting up groups when translocating individuals. Global warming is a major concern. We studied the effects of extremes in temperature and rainfall on giraffe survival. It turns out warmer than average temperatures was fine for giraffes, but during excessive rains, survival was lower. In heavy rains, parasites and diseases increase. And unfortunately, under climate change, more heavy rainfall is predicted in East Africa, which could spell trouble for giraffes. This means it's important to focus on the changes we can easily make to help giraffes, like stop killing them for bushmeat markets and protect large areas of wild nature from farming and urbanization. In our large landscapes, we were also able to study how lions and migratory herds of wildebeests affect giraffe calf survival. Only 3 wildebeest migrations remain in the world, and 2 are in our study areas in Tanzania. Wildebeests migrate around the ecosystem, so their local densities change over the course of the year. Giraffes and lions, though, do not migrate. We found that survival of giraffe calves depends on the presence or absence of the migratory herds. And when there's lots of wildebeests around, the predators tend to eat them, and giraffe calves have higher survival. But when there are few wildebeests around, the predators eat more giraffe calves. So there's a link between the migratory animals and the giraffes. And as migratory herds decrease in numbers due to human land uses and poaching, then giraffes are also negatively affected. To save giraffes, we must save the other animals too. One of the key aspects of our research is that we study giraffes inside and outside the parks, so we can learn about the effects of different kinds of human disturbances on giraffes. We found that giraffe mothers actually like to bring their calves near to the traditional homesteads of the Masai cattle herders, seen here in the background of this picture, because those Masai keep away the lions and hyenas. However, all giraffes, male, female, young, and old, avoid towns because towns are where bushmeat hunters operate and where agriculture surrounding the town reduces habitat quality. So we see that there's different levels of human settlements and impacts. And livestock keeping is compatible with giraffe conservation, which is really promising because it shows it's possible for humans and giraffes to live together in harmony. While the traditional Masai herders do not kill giraffes, there are others who do. We know lions kill calves, and bushmeat poachers and hunters kill adults. But how do these predators affect natural giraffe population dynamics? We found adult female survival is higher inside the parks, where they're well protected from the poachers who operate mostly outside the parks. But we found calf survival was higher outside the parks, where there are fewer natural predators like lions and hyenas. So the killers of giraffes have age preferences, where natural predators like lions are responsible for the calf deaths, and humans are responsible for the adult deaths. But wildlife populations are used to natural predation upon calves, and populations in the parks are stable. It's perfectly natural for predators to kill a large proportion of the babies. Outside the parks, however, populations are declining because adult female giraffes should have very high survival. They're not vulnerable to natural predators. But people were poaching the adult females, and this was causing the populations to decline. This is an example of how studying demography helps us to pinpoint the exact problems for populations. For giraffes in this area, the problem is illegal killing of adult females. So, what are some specific ways we can help both giraffes and people to thrive together in the village lands outside of parks? One way is through the establishment of wildlife management areas, or WMAs. And these are community conservation areas where villagers dedicate a part of their lands to wildlife habitat and they implement law enforcement measures. And in turn, they can make money from ecotourism. And WMAs are providing crucial funds for local people. And these funds pay for things like schools and health clinics. But were the WMAs working for giraffes? No one had documented this before. We found that the two WMAs near Tarangire National Park are successfully conserving giraffes, with increased survival and greater densities after the WMAs started their conservation actions. So we proved that community conservation plays an important role in the future of giraffes, which is very good news indeed. We put all of this demographic information together to assess extinction risks for giraffes. We had data on variation in survival based on local climate, local predation pressure affected by the number of lions and the number of wildebeests, nearness to different types of human settlements, from the towns to the cattle herders, and law enforcement and poaching levels. So we found that weak law enforcement efforts in the protected areas results in extinction of the population within 50 years. So protecting large areas of unfenced wild nature and safeguarding giraffes within these areas from being killed is the best way to save giraffes, to save all of their complex social and genetic structure, and to save all the other species like migratory wildebeests that contribute to giraffe survival. Now, all of the science in the world will not save giraffes without the support of the people who live alongside these animals. It's critical that local people drive conservation efforts. So an important aspect of Wild Nature Institute's work is community environmental education to inspire the next generation of conservation leaders. We developed our Celebrating Africa's Giants education program to inspire Tanzanian children to save giraffes, elephants, wildebeests, and all the creatures that share the savanna with them. We make children's books and posters and accompanying learning activities that teachers are using in their classrooms. We use stories to create a bond of empathy between the kids and the animals. And the books are all visually beautiful and the stories entertaining, so learning is fun. We've reached about 30,000 children in classrooms across Tanzania. We've printed and distributed more than 7,000 activity books and almost 20,000 storybooks and more than 3,000 educational posters. And we've conducted 12 teacher training workshops and trained more than 200 teachers throughout Tanzania to implement our education programs. We not only work in the classroom, but we have lots of activities outside the classroom to inspire conservation. We organize Giraffe Fun Days at schools where hundreds of kids and community members celebrate giraffes by doing drama and arts, planting trees, playing sports, eating a nice free meal, and having a great time. And in this way, the kids connect giraffe conservation with fun. We take kids on outings to their nearby national parks, and these parks are near where the kids live, but because of the cost, they've never been able to visit them. They learn how to use binoculars and record what they see and to study animal behavior in the wild. Students plant trees to improve wildlife habitat and learn the importance of trees for a healthy planet, for giraffes and for people too. Just this week, Lake Manyara National Park is planting 10,000 of our native tree seedlings along the lakeshore, which is where one of our giraffe study populations is located. So this is a direct improvement of habitat for our giraffes. In honor of World Ranger Day, school children in our education program personally deliver handwritten thank you letters to park rangers. The rangers are always really surprised and really happy to be appreciated in this way by the local community. We've taken 571 different kids to Tarangire and Lake Manyara National Parks to see giraffes. We've established tree nurseries at 2 schools where kids have nurtured 30,000 tree seedlings and distributed 18,000 to the community. We've organized 10 community fun days, 3 celebrations of World Ranger Day, and 2 trash cleanups at Lake Minyara National Park to improve the environment for giraffes. We also produce Swahili gospel and hip hop songs about giraffes, how beautiful and amazing they are, and how we must protect them. We play these on the radio and television and on long distance buses, reaching tens of thousands of Tanzanians with creative media messaging. This song is called Okoa Twiga, which means Save Giraffes. So that sums up just some of Wild Nature Institute's major accomplishments over the last 14 years in our ongoing actions to help people and giraffe to thrive together. We simply could not do this work without our major supporters that are listed here. Thank you so much for your time, and here is where you can find more information about our work.